So, welcome to this first casual Wednesday by World Pro Racing. Today with rFactor 2, first race with rFactor 2, using the new ASR Formula car, Formula 3, thanks to ASR themselves. Would like to welcome you to this live stream of today by World Pro Racing. As we said, this is our first race on rFactor 2. Unfortunately, we had, yes, 15 registrations for this event, but until now, we're not seeing so much drivers on the server yet. Hopefully, they will increase, but still, we're going on with our race today. Together with us, race director Justin Mifsud and myself as steward of the day, and George also here with us today, and commentating this race, Caitlin Penny.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Welcome, everyone, as we've already said, to the Silverstone International Circuit for the first rFactor 2 casual race ever with World Pro Racing. It's fantastic to be extending to rFactor 2. It's a simulator I know very well. It's a simulator that I like very much and that I have a lot of experience on. And it's a simulator that a lot of people have been asking for as well. So we've listened to the requests and we've extended to rFactor 2. And today we're testing it out for the first time. A shame about the lack of entries. We did have 15. Unfortunately, we only have 5 people on the server at the minute, but it should still be a cracking event because World Pro Racing always delivers. Cliff Villinga, says, "Hi guys, wanted to join today but got a phone call, need to go. Sorry to hear it, Cliff. Hope we see you next time out." And hello to everyone joining us in the YouTube and the Facebook streams. Yasmin Galley says, "Good luck, everyone," and that's good to see. And in fact, Matthew Galley, I'm going to say Galley, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is actually racing in this event. So I take it they're related. No proof. If you can, I don't know, if you can update us on how you're related to Matthew, that'd be great. But anyway, this is the Silverstone International Circuit. It's, of course, in the UK. Everyone knows that about Silverstone. It's the site of the British Grand Prix, as it has been on and off since the very first Grand Prix back in 1950. And it's going to be holding this year's British Grand Prix as usual. It's a site with a lot of heritage. It's what I consider to be probably the most professional race circuit in the world. And it's fantastic to be at the Silverstone circuit. Even if we're not using the full layout, we are using the international layout, which cuts off just after the village corner and then goes back up the hangar straight. But it's great to be at Silverstone. And with these Formula 3 cars, well, these are the 2017 spec Dallara F317s, which did, of course, race at Silverstone that year with the FIA European Championship. It was Lando Norris, Joel Eriksson, and Callum Ilott who picked up the 3 wins on that weekend. And this weekend, we have the World Pro Racing drivers at it. Currently, the fastest in this official practice session seems to be Thomas Lechevre, I think. Lechevre, I'm going to say. Again, sorry if I'm butchering that pronunciation. I don't have a pronunciation guide, but I'm going to say Lechevre. So it's Thomas Lechevre at the top so far, followed by Dean Vella and Che Hatch. Those only the 3 drivers who have actually set laps so far, but we do have 6 on track, and we're just waiting for the others to set laps to see how they stack up against their opponents. Hello to Alexis Clopano, Che Hatch, and Matthew Galley making their first. Oh, and actually Thomas Lechevre, making their first sim racing or World Pro Racing, outings with us here today. They have not raced with us before. And also Morgan Sohm, who has just joined the server, also a brand new driver to World Pro Racing. So great to see so many new faces, and great to see old faces as well, such as Gianluigi Carrao and Dean Vella, who have been racing with us for months. It's fantastic to see you all here, and this race is going to be about seeing how the new guys shape up against the familiar faces. 7 drivers now on the server, so we are getting more people in. We had 8 in the briefing just now, although one of them has just been for a phone call. So this is probably the number of drivers that we're going to end up getting. Although It would be great to get more if we could. If you fancy getting involved with us here at World Pro Racing, you very much can. All the information is on the site. You're a bit late for today's race, but we do have a race coming up in a week. We're actually racing BTCC cars in just a week's time. And that is going to be, let me just check the circuit, that's going to be held at the Toban Raceway Park. So that's going to be another really good event. I love BTCC cars. I love touring cars. It's a shame I've never been able to commentate on modern touring cars with World Pro Racing before, but it's fantastic that I'm going to be able to get that opportunity in a week's time, and it's great that we're doing that. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that, as you all should be as well. And yeah, if you want to get involved, the World Pro Racing site is there with all of the information. It's www.worldproracing.com, and then you can find the information for next week's BTCC casual race at Toban Raceway Park. So 5 people have set laps now in this official practice session. Dean Vella has just gone up to 2nd place, but he's only beaten Matthew Galley by 1,000th of a second so far. So it's very, very close at the minute for that 2nd position. Thomas de Chevre is still at the top. And then we have Vella and Galley both separated from him by about 0.145. Then it's Che Hatch and Alexis Clopano, but still Carrao and Saum have not set laps just yet, so we're waiting to see exactly what they're capable of. Carrao is about to complete, no, he's about to start his first, I believe, whereas Saum, I think, is about to complete his first. They're both in very similarly liveried cars, actually, both actually high-tech Grand Prix liveried. Of course, we don't have those teams racing with us today, but yeah, they are liveried as drivers from the high-tech Grand Prix team would have been that year, as is Che Hatch, actually. So high-tech obviously looking like a popular livery to have. Morgan Sam sets his first lap. It's about 0.2 of a second off Alexis Clopano in 5th at the minute, but that was only Sam's first flying lap. And we'll see what else he can give as the session continues. Very short track, less than a minute long. Top time currently 55.403. Not 155, just 55. And that, of course, is because we're not using the full layout of the track. We're cutting off a decent chunk of the circuit and taking the international layout here at Silverstone. And therefore it's a short circuit. Traffic is going to come into play in qualifying and practice, and possibly the race if something goes wrong, especially at the start. It's going to be a 30-lap race, meaning it'll be just under half an hour. I'm not expecting pit stops. That will probably only occur if something goes wrong, but yeah, whatever the case. Gianluigi Carrao completes his first lap, and it's quite a long way off the pace for now. He definitely will be hoping to improve on that one. Morgan Saum there jumps up ahead of Alexis Clopano, so up into 5th place. Clopano down to 6th. And all 7 drivers are currently out on track. We have about 10 minutes remaining in this practice session before we head to the 15-minute qualifying and then the 30-lap race. And the order remains pretty stationary as it stands. So let's see if we can find a driver who's about to start a lap and run you through. Let's watch on board with Gianluigi Carrao, actually, and run you through the course. So it's down the start-finish straight, the new start-finish straight as of 2011. Then we go through the right-hander Abbey, very fast right-hander, and a very fast right-hander, left-hander, sorry, at Farm. Then we break down towards Village. Carrao's missed the apex a bit there and run wide on the exit. That's not what he would have wanted to do. Then we cut off the loop section and head out through Chapel onto the hangar straight. It's up the hill, and Formula 1 cars at the end of the straight will be reaching almost 210 miles per hour. Let's have a look at the speedometer and see what Carrao reaches. That will be 151, so still pretty quick there. 151 miles per hour for Gianluigi Carrao. And then out of Stowe towards Vale, through the left, and then through Club. It's a double apex right. There's the first apex. Whoa, and he spins into the second apex there, off onto the inside. And if he'd completed the lap, which it looks as if he's going to anyway, he'd have gone past that bright orange sausage curb and over the line to complete the lap. So that was a lap of the Silverstone International Circuit. Dean Vella's improved on his lap. He's gone a 55.444 and he's on another lap here. So we'll see if he can go any faster than that and if he can challenge Thomas Lechevre across the line. And it's no improvement this time around. But yeah, an improvement last time around from Dean Vella. Meanwhile, Thomas Lechevre has improved. He's just set a 55.330. So a new fastest lap for Thomas Lechevre and a fastest lap of the session so far. Of course, it doesn't decide the grid order for the race later on, but definitely it's a good view into what the drivers are capable of and who we should be looking out for as we head into qualifying and the race in just a couple of minutes. Into the pits now comes Thomas Lechevre. He obviously thinks that he's done enough for now, and of course he doesn't need to go any faster because, as I said, this is only official practice and we're not in qualifying just yet. Meanwhile, his rivals still continue to lap. Dean Vella crosses the line again and does not improve. He's a little bit off his time. And Matthew Galli also doesn't improve on that one. I'm most interested here in Dean Vella, as Dean, of course, is one of the oldest, not oldest, he's not old, but one of the most familiar faces we have here at World Pro Racing. He's done possibly even more races than anyone else. I suppose he can contest that with Dean Vella. Oh, sorry, with Bernard Vella here with World Pro Racing, but yeah. Dean, of course, definitely a driver who was expected to do well here today, and he has experience with rFactor 2. He's also racing in the GPWC Super Cup series, which is a very high-ranking series within rFactor 2. He hasn't had the greatest start to a season yet. He got criticised in the round at Australia for holding up the leaders and not getting out the way quickly enough for blue flags. But I'm sure he will be learning from his mistakes, and Dean Vella, yeah, will definitely be a driver to look out for. Meanwhile, Matthew Galli sets the fastest time of anyone, 55.328, so Matthew Galli goes to the top, and you'll notice that the car he's driving here is the number 31 Carlin, and if you recognise the helmet on that car, you'll notice that that is indeed the car that's now, that was run then by Lando Norris, who went on to compete in Formula 1. He's now started 3 Formula 1 Grand Prix as of the time of recording. Meanwhile, Matthew Galli spins his car off into the gravel trap and then escapes to the pit lane. But yeah, of course, these cars not associated with the teams of whose livery they're sporting. It's just a casual race, no teams involved, and that's how they're running here today. Although, of course, sorry, just got a bit distracted. Although, of course, it's great to see the 2017 Formula 3 cars out on track. You have the Tadasuke Makino liveried motorpark car of Thomas Lechevre, the Lando Norris liveried car of Matthew Galli, the 2 Prema Power Team liveried cars of Max Gunther and Guan Yu Zhu, fielded here today by Dean Vella and Alexis Clopano. And then you have the high-tech cars, and those from memory I think were Ralph Aron and who would have been the 99? Nikita Mazepan? Probably. And they're being fielded today by Che Hatch, Morgan Sam and Gianluigi Carrao. So there's just my bit of F3 nerdiness out of the way for the day, and we can get on with who's actually racing. Thomas Lechevre goes to the top again. It's a 55.119. He actually set that last lap, and that's over 0.2 of a second faster than Matthew Galli, and that's quite incredible on a track this short. So yeah, fantastic lap there from Thomas Lechevre, and he seems to certainly be the driver to beat. Meanwhile, just about 4 minutes until we head to the qualifying session. I know it says 14 minutes on the timer, but we started practice late, and therefore we're going to be cutting it off early. Let's read some YouTube comments. We have YXIMIA saying, sorry, is Dean Vella racing? Yes, he is. He's currently third in the order. And he says, can you shout out Dean Vella, please, from Hattard Local Band Club? Okay, well, shout out to the Hattard Local Band Club and to YXIMIA, who is watching us here today. And he says, we are very proud of him. Oh, that's very, very nice to see. And also, if you're watching either on YouTube or on Facebook, feel free to leave us some comments. We will be, I will be reading them as the session progresses and as the weekend progresses. And yeah, just make sure you enjoy the show. It's going to be a good one. Formula 3 is great, and Silverstone as well. Again, one of the most professional circuits, if not the most professional circuit in the world. Of course, one thing to look out for today will be slipstreaming. If you can get a good run off from the chapel, the inverted chapel corner, heading onto the Hangar Straight area, then slipstreaming will definitely come into effect. These cars really punch a hole in the air. There's a lot of turbulent air that comes off their wings as they are single-seaters. And that means, of course, that if you can tuck yourself right up behind the car in front, you get quite a considerable top speed advantage. It just takes the air off those wings. And it's not good through the corners, but in a straight line, it's fantastic. And that's how the drivers are going to be pulling overtakes here today. Trying to get alongside a car so they can outbrake them into the into Stowe corner. Now Stowe, although it is a longer corner and although it is almost banked really uphill, it is of course a well, pretty much 90-degree right-hander, meaning there is definitely an overtaking opportunity there. Some very famous overtakes have taken place there, including Nelson Piquet and Nigel Mansell going at it in '87. Mansell went on to win that race. Dean Vella has just set his personal best. It's 55.245. Much to YXIMIA, his delight, I'm sure, as I presume you're a he anyway. I apologise if you're not. Watching along in the YouTube chat, and we're about to bring out the checkered flag on this session and head on to the qualifying session. It's going to be 15 minutes, and that's all the chance that the drivers are going to get to improve on their times and to get themselves as far up the grid as they possibly can. The further forward, the better, of course. It's effectively like getting a couple of seconds head start, and that really comes into play at the start of the race with track positioning. The cars just spread out due to having to race each other, and therefore the closer to the front you are, the further forward you get pushed. It's like a reverse accordion effect, and that's why qualifying is important. Meanwhile, Thomas Lechevre, the first driver to settle up under 55 seconds. It's a 45.942, and that's a really impressive lap from Thomas Lechevre there. Fantastic from the, I presume, French driver, judging by his name. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. I'm sorry if I'm getting any of it wrong. But yeah, Thomas Lechevre, the new driver to the World Pro Racing, going to the top of the field, and so far untouched, but we have a long way to go, and we'll see if any drivers have anything else to give when we head into qualifying. We are moving to qualifying now. The gap in practice between Lechevre and Vella over 0.3 of a second. A dominant qualifying performance from Thomas Lechevre, and it was Lechevre followed by Vella, Gallet, Saum, Hatch, Clapano and Grau, the finishing order, and the entire field separated by just 1.1 seconds. Of course, it is a short track, but still, that's a pretty close field. And Gianluigi Carrao, the only driver not set a lap under 55 seconds, he will be hoping to improve on that. Meanwhile, Thomas Lechevre, the only driver to set a lap under 55 seconds, making him by far the fastest in that session. But we head on now to the qualifying session. And when the green light comes on, the drivers will be heading out onto this Silverstone International Circuit to... the drivers will be heading out onto the Silverstone International Circuit to show us what they've got in a competitive environment. Of course, this is only a casual race. We're not doing it for a championship, but still, bragging rights are at stake, and we all know how important bragging rights are to drivers. Interestingly, the session taking a little while to tick over. I'm not sure if I need to restart my server or not. I can't actually see what's going on. If I'm missing anything, then I apologize for that. But yeah, something not quite going right. Indeed, qualifying has started. I'm going to try leaving the server and coming back in again. But yeah, I see on the stream that we're just getting Dean Vella going round to start his first flying lap here at the World Pro Racing Formula 3 casual race, ASR Formula 3 casual race from Silverstone International. YXIMIA, or AI, sorry, says, yeah, we're all watching from the local band club. Dean Vella is our trumpet player. That's fantastic. Great story there. And hello to everyone at the band club. Cheering on Dean Vella. He's doing okay, and he's about to start his first flying lap here at Silverstone. There he goes. He's just started his first flying lap. I'm commentating with a bit of a delay here, so you've probably seen that a couple of seconds ago. But yeah, we'll update you on what Dean Vella's first flying lap is. Let's watch him as he goes around the Silverstone circuit. Little bit of a kick out of the tail there, and he got a little bit on the grass there, coming into the into Chapel Curve. That's going to cost him a couple of tenths of a second, but of course this isn't going to be his only chance. We have a 15-minute qualifying session, meaning that in those 15 minutes he can have as many laps as he likes to attempt to improve on his lap and go quicker and higher up the order. And his first lap, you'll already be able to see it, but his first lap is a 55.935. It's not great. That would have put him 6th in practice out of the 7 cars. So it's not great, but yeah, it's not everything. He can definitely improve, and I'm sure he will as we continue to watch him lapping. He's racing the bright pink BWT sponsored car. Admittedly, BWT not a sponsor of that car here today, but it was sponsored by BWT when the actual Formula 3 Championship, the European Formula 3 Championship, was racing at Silverstone back in 2017. Meanwhile, Matthew Galley has set the fastest time of anyone so far. He's at the top. Can't quite see his time. I think that says 55 point something. Is it 55.178? Not a bad lap there for Matthew Galley at the start of the session. And then it's Hatch, Lechevre, Vella, Clopano, Carrao, and Sam. But let's watch Lechevre when we can, because I'm sure that Lechevre has more to give, and definitely more to come. He was the fastest driver by a long way in practice, and I'd be surprised to see him not challenge for pole position here in official qualifying. Again, we are live on both YouTube and Facebook. If you're just joining us now, we've just seen Thomas Lechevre go fastest in practice, and we are now in a 15-minute qualifying session to see if he can match the same feat 2 sessions in a row. Apologies about the slight technical issues. I am not actually able to see the cars at the minute, apart from with a delay on the server. But I'm coming back in, and I'm going to try to keep this stream as professional as I possibly can. I'm just sorry something like this has happened 2 streams in a row. Unfortunately, things like this happen sometimes, and there's nothing more that we can do about them. But yeah, we're still going to give you the best stream that we can possibly give you here at World Pro Racing, as we always do. We have Adrian Figallo and Justin Mifsud doing a fantastic job, as always, to bring you the visual side of this stream, and also streaming it in the first place. They organise all of the events along with their race steward, George Muscat. And the whole thing is run from Malta. It's a very professional organisation, and we've just started expanding. We've recently partnered with Grip. We were racing with Grip actually at the weekend, and we're going to be racing with Grip 7 more times at least for the remainder of this year. Whoa, Shay Hatch has a big spin. I've only just seen that. You would have seen that a couple of seconds ago, so apologies for the late reaction. But yeah, we've recently partnered with Grip. We did a race with them at the weekend, and now we are partnering, well, not partnering, sorry, I take that back. We are not partners with rFactor 2, but we are racing on rFactor 2 for the very first time here today. So thank you if you're staying with us. I know this hasn't been the best start. I promise it will be better for the race in just a couple of minutes. We have 8.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session, and so far we've seen, I think, every driver set a representative lap time. We're currently watching, I think, Gianluigi Carrao, although I may be on delay. Carrao is currently 6th in the session, not having the best time of it just yet, although that's 1 position better than he was doing in practice, and he has now managed to get his time below 56 seconds, so not a bad effort there for Gianluigi Carrao. It's all about improvement here at World Pro Racing, and just doing the best that you can do. Of course, it's great to win, and you'll be disappointed if you don't do well, but you know, Gianluigi Carrao getting his time under 56 seconds is an achievement and an improvement. And really, he's not that far off the leader, to be honest, so apologise if I sound patronising here. He is genuinely doing quite a good job, as everyone here today is. Yeah, good to see no drivers turning up with a real evident lack of practice. Sometimes you see drivers running around at the back and causing a little bit of an issue in qualifying or practice, or sometimes even the race. But yeah, we haven't had that so far today, and that's good to see. It's evident that even the drivers who may not have had as much practice as the others are driving sensibly and driving with their head and keeping it clean. Meanwhile, I think everything is okay with the server all of a sudden, so I can finally update you of the order. It's Matthew Galli at the top, followed by Che Hatch, Dean Vella, Morgan Sound, Thomas Lechevre, Gianluigi Carrao, and then Alexis Capano, and the entire field is separated by less than 0.8 of a second. That's how close it is at this point in time. What a fantastic session this has been so far. It's a shame that I haven't been able to speak about much of it, but yeah. Thomas Lechevre now coming out the final corner. Can he finally put in a lap representative of what he was doing in practice? No, he can't. I'm a little bit baffled by Thomas Lechevre so far. He's about half a second off what he was doing in practice, and that's a little bit disappointing from him. Hopefully in the remaining 5.5 minutes of this session, he can come back from this and improve on what he's already done. Oh, he has a big slide, and that may well have thrown away that lap as well. So Lechevre rather, possibly making a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes here today. Well, actually, I don't know if they're uncharacteristic. I've never seen him racing before, but he was definitely quicker than this in practice. Into the Vale he heads, and he will be about to set up a new lap. Hopefully his next lap will be cleaner and better than this. Meanwhile, I just saw an improvement near the top of the field. Dean Vella goes first. That's where the improvement was. Dean Vella, 55.166. And a fantastic lap from Dean Vella has put him to the top of the time so far. And everyone cheer at the local band club. That's what they wanted to hear. And Dean Vella, the trumpet player, will be hoping he can play his own national anthem after this race while standing on the podium. Now, I said that the entire field was separated by less than 0.8 of a second. Jean-Louis Gicrau has just set a lap, meaning that the entire field is now separated by less than 0.7 of a second. That's a really, really close field, even for a track this short. Really great to see. Thomas de Chevre, final corner across the line. Is this an improvement? No! Yes, it is! Sorry, I spoke too soon. It's a 55.131 from Thomas de Chevre, putting him up to the top of the order. Still 0.2 of a second off what he did in practice. We know that there's more to come from Thomas de Chevre, but it's all about whether he can set it or not. He may not need to, though, as he is at the top of the order. The gap between him and Dean Vella in second is 0.034, so still anyone's game at this point in time. Still, it's not over yet for Dean Vella, for Matthew Galley, or for Che Hatch. They're all separated by just 0.06 of a second, not even tenths of a second, 0.06 of a second separate the top four. Meanwhile, Thomas de Chevre is in the pits, so will not be improving on his lap very quickly or very soon, although may come out and give it another shot towards the end of the session. He has a couple of tenths of a second to find. Now, what can any of the guys behind him say? Dean Vella's been a little bit balked there in the final sector. Out of the final corner he comes. And I've learnt my lesson not to speak too soon, but that wasn't a quicker lap for Dean Vella that time through. Che Hatch across the line. And no improvement for Che either. In fact, let's watch Che Hatch as he goes on to this next lap, because he's a driver who's just been steadily improving his lap time and steadily approaching the leaders. And I wouldn't be surprised to see something really pulled out of the bag here by Che Hatch in the late stages of the session, if he has anything more to give. Down the hanger straight, or I should say up the hanger straight, because it's uphill. And into Stowe Corner. There's a large runoff on the outside, but don't let that fool you into thinking it's easy. The camber of the turn and the sheer speed of it and the curb on the outside make it very easy to just unsettle the car and lose control. I've seen it done many times, and Che Hatch goes to first. 55.123. It's provisional pole position now for Che Hatch. However, his rival Thomas de Chevre is back on track, and with just 1.5 minutes left in qualifying, I have no idea which of the top four drivers are going to set pole position. Less than 0.6 of a second, less than 0.06 of a second now separate the top four. It's getting closer and closer every time I look, and it's currently Che Hatch who has the top time. Now, one of the best things about rFactor 2 that we didn't see on Assetto Corsa is that the track gets rubbered in. So the more cars go around the circuit, the more rubber gets put on the racing line, and therefore the faster the track becomes, meaning qualifying sessions like this become so much like a real shootout where the times tumble as they go along. And that's a fantastic thing that rFactor 2 has above any other racing sim, I believe. Its tyre physics and its rubber physics and its track physics are simply unrivaled. And that in itself is what's providing us with such a fantastic qualifying session here today. You have to give credit where it's due to rFactor 2. A lot of people will tell you that iRacing is the most professional and most realistic racing simulator, and in many ways it is. But my heart will always stand with rFactor 2 and Assetto Corsa, but rFactor 2 for realism. Through the final corner comes Thomas Lechevre, and across the line, and that was his final chance. He didn't cross the line in time to start another lap, and he hasn't gone faster. Thomas Lechevre will not be setting pole position here. Che Hatch's in the pits, as is Galley, the only driver who can do anything about this now that the checkered flag has fallen is Dean Vella. So let's watch Dean Vella now as he comes up the hanger straight. He's got a very distant toe from Carau there. I don't believe he'll be getting any of it as he heads towards the Stowe corner. Needs to run it out over the curb on the exit. That was nicely done, actually. That was smooth. Into Vale, brake just past the 100-meter board, tag the inside curb, inch perfect. Oh, and a big kick of oversteer, and he's off, and that's it for Dean Vella. The session is over for Dean Vella, and that's it. Che Hatch takes pole position. Hatch is on pole, followed by Lechevre, Vella, Galley, Sam, Clopano, and Carau. 7 drivers have set laps. They're all separated by less than 0.8 of a second. The top 4 were separated by less than 0.06 of a second. And what a session we just witnessed there. What a fantastic shootout. And what a great lap from Che Hatch to put him on pole position in the session alongside Thomas Lechevre on the front row of the grid. Fantastic.
Yeah, that was a great, definitely qualifying session. Would like to thank our sponsors. Obviously, enough these casual Wednesdays are brought to you by Visit Malta and Gaming Malta, together with our supporting partners, GT Omega Racing, Gamers.com.mt, Garmin Malta, Z1 Software, and Student Motorsport. We have now, we're going for a 5-minute warm-up, and then obviously enough will go on for the 30-lap race of today. So we're going for a short commercial break, and we'll be back with you shortly. We're back for this first casual race on Casual Wednesdays with World Pro Racing. Today on rFactor 2, our first actual virtual race on this platform. Definitely we have more to come. So we're like 3 minutes remaining in this warm-up session before we kick off with the 30-lap race of today. As I said earlier, also during the start of this stream, unfortunately, we had much more drivers registering for this race. We had approximately 15, but some of them actually didn't turn up. So we still went on with the broadcast. It's our first rFactor 2 race today, here with the ASR Formula 3 mod in Silverstone circuit. Together with us, as always, our broadcast director, Justin Nifsut, myself as race director, Adrian Figallo, George Muscat as the steward, and also Caitlin Penny as our commentator. On to you, Caitlin, to commentate the last couple of minutes of warm-up and the upcoming race.
Welcome back, everyone, to World Pro Racing. This is the ASR Formula 3 casual race from the Silverstone International Circuit. 7 of our most enthusiastic drivers are here today and lapping the circuit, just preparing for the start of the race. Hello to everyone joining us in the YouTube stream. Foxtrot says waiting for a race room racing series. That is something to look into. And World Pro Racing there replied with coming soon. So definitely keep your eyes peeled and keep watching for news on a potential race room upcoming series or maybe casual races. Nothing's confirmed yet, but it's definitely something that I know World Pro Racing are looking into, and it's something that I'd be glad to get involved with as well. But yeah, remember we are live on both YouTube and Facebook. World Pro Racing on Facebook says visit our website at www.worldproracing.com for more info about us and to participate in our races. But indeed, if you remember we are live. If you want to get involved, if you like what you see, then definitely make sure you check out our website and get involved with our upcoming races. We have a very good race coming up, a very interesting looking race coming up in a week's time. We're going to be racing BTCC cars, modern touring cars, at the Toban racing circuit. So if that tickles your fancy, then definitely sign up for that, and we will see you on the grid in a week's time. I know that tickles my fancy. To be honest, if I wasn't commentating on that, I may well be racing in that. But yeah, I love touring cars. I love racing them. I love watching them, and commentating on them is going to be a pleasure. But less about me and more about the session, because we are now just 20 seconds away from the checkered flag, and therefore just a couple of minutes away until the lights will go out at the start of the race. It's getting exciting, and the thing that really stood out to me in qualifying there was just how close it was. Remember, the top 4 were right together. If you watched their laps side by side, you'd think they crossed the line identically at it. Excuse me, that was a really horrible sound I just made, and I'm so sorry. You'd think they crossed the line at exactly the same time there. They were separated by just less than 600ths of a second, and you can't see that visually. Honestly, you cannot see that visually. Unless you look extremely closely with multiple views. We have just got another driver, Massimiliano Ferrari, great name for a racing driver, who has just joined us. He didn't participate in qualifying, so hopefully he's done some practice, so he'll be ready for the race. But yeah, Ferrari joining us pretty late, but better late than never. And hopefully he can get up to speed fairly quickly, because he will have no warm-up time before the start of this race. And now we are on the grid. Luckily my server didn't crash again like it did on the way to qualifying. But yeah, we're on the grid, about to start the formation lap here for this 30-lap race. It's going to be just under half an hour. And away from the front row goes Che Hatch is going to be leading us around in the Ralph Aron liveried Formula 3 car. Of course, all of these cars identical. They are Dallara F317s.
It's actually a start, Caitlin, sorry to correct you, but there is no formation lap. So it was from a standing start.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm used to oh my word. I thought there was a formation lap. Che Hatch leads the race. I'm so sorry. So Che Hatch leads the race. Thomas Lechevre going to his outside up into Stowe. The race is indeed underway, and Lechevre has taken the lead around the outside. Fantastic move there on the opening lap of the race, not the formation lap, and very nearly sticks it on the inside of Vale, but Hatch comes back in but runs wide. Thomas Lechevre goes back through into the lead of the race, and back in his slipstream goes Che Hatch as they go down the start-finish straight and towards Abbey Corner, turn 1. There we go, and Thomas Lechevre takes the lead back. So after the first lap of the race, it's Lechevre leading. Oh, Galley dives to the inside of Hatch. Hatch wasn't ready for him, and Galley is right there. needs to hold it on the inside of Chapel, and Hatch there actually did really well to give him room. Lesser drivers wouldn't have seen him coming, but indeed does give him room. Unfortunately, Massimiliano Ferrari has dropped a long way off the field, so it seems that my worries have come true. But anyway, as we head up towards Stowe, Galley is on the inside. He is in second. Hatch is in third. Salm is in fourth. Whoa! And that was, as everything continues to lag, that was Galley there going to the going on the defence, as Hatch definitely expressed interest in making a move, and they make wheel-to-wheel contact through the second apex at Club. Hatch back up into second position. Now, what happened to Dean Veller at the start? Because he's dropped to sixth position. Was he involved, or did he or did he just well, maybe not expect the start to well, maybe he just wasn't ready for the start. Indeed, it looks as if that was the case. He got a bit swamped off the start-finish line. Now, as we head down the start-finish, the hangar straight, sorry, this is where we're going to get some more slipstreaming. Galley is in the toe of Hatch, and just behind him, Morgan Saum isn't done yet either. He takes a look to the outside through Stowe, and very nearly makes it stick. Oh my goodness. And does make it stick on the inside. Needs to, well, he has the outside for Stowe, for Club, sorry. But Galley there keeps it up in third position. And the final spot on the podium as it stands, but we're only 10% of the way through this race, and they're both going very, very wide there. That was Galley in avoidance. Oh no, and Carrau's ploughed into them. There's been a crash. Carrau has hit Galley and spun. Morgan Saum has spun as well. And that puts Dean Veller now up into third position. I'm going to have a look back at exactly what just happened there between those drivers. It seems that Carrau just missed his braking. Maybe he was mesmerised by watching the two cars fighting up ahead, and played skittles with Saum and with Galley. And that, I'm sure, will be investigated after the race by the race stewards, who do a fantastic job, I should point out. But yeah, very, very big disappointment there, especially for Saum. He's dropped to sixth and all of that. So after all of that, that's put Dean Veller up into fourth, Clopano's up into fifth, Saum is now sixth, and Carrau is seventh. As we complete lap 4 of the race, and still all 7 drivers are remaining, or all 8 drivers, sorry, are still running in this race, although in a very, very different order to the order they started in. Thomas de Chevre leads the race, and that was after the chaotic opening lap where they all went at it up towards Stowe. Again, I do apologise for not understanding the start procedure. It's just that I didn't actually know you could start an rFactor 2 race without a warm-up lap. So that is the first time I've ever seen that happen, and it threw me off quite a lot. But yeah, whatever the case, we are indeed racing. We're 5 laps in, and Lechevre is leading comfortably from Hatch. And then we have Galley and Veller, who are still pretty close, over third position, with Clopano right on their tail as well. It's a three-way battle over that third place. It's great to see Clopano keeping up with them, because these two guys were about 2 or 3 tenths of a second faster than in qualifying. And but yeah, Clopano doing a good job in the race here to stick with them. Another thing, of course, is that at this well, this race is probably going to be about 25 minutes to half an hour, meaning it's going to be pretty hard to keep the tyres in check. You need to make sure that they don't go off. And tyres in rFactor 2 are the most realistic tyres of all tyres in sim racing.
So actually, as you can see, we've given Gianluigi Corrao a drive-through, and he's doing it right now.
And that will be for clattering into the back of Galley and Saum. So good job by the stewards there to update. You know, thanks for updating us as the race is going on, and thanks for sorting it out before the end of the race. It's always better if that's possible. It's not always possible to deliver a penalty before the race is over, but when it is, it's great to see it happen. So you're not in doubt of the finishing order at the end of the race. Carrau has taken his drive-through penalty. didn't end up losing a place from that, because unfortunately Massimiliano Ferrari is too far behind. But yeah, Gianluigi Grau exits the pits in 7th position and continues on his way. So yeah, good job by the race stewards, and thanks for your update, Adrian.
Yeah, obviously enough, if the platform gives you the possibility also to have the instant rewind like you have here, obviously enough, it's good to give the penalties live like it happened now. And thanks to rFactor, to this is more possible and makes our life a little bit better to give live penalties during the race.
Yeah, of course, a problem we've had in the past with World Pro Racing is that sometimes, of course, because you can't actually give a driver a penalty in the server in some other simulators, what we had to do in the past was have a race director go into their voice channel and deliver them the news that way. But sometimes they either didn't hear it or they weren't in the voice channel in the first place. Again, that was against the rules, but you know, that did happen, and as a result it ended up spoiling a couple of races. And well, it's great that rFactor 2 allows us to do that. And yeah, if you haven't been able to tell by now, I'm a massive rFactor 2 fan. I did my first few sim racing commentaries in rFactor 2, and my first few races in rFactor 2 as well, actually as a driver. So I have a big soft spot for rFactor 2, and I genuinely believe that it is one of the best simulators out there, if not the best. And I tell you what, Saum and Carao, their tyres are going to be killing them at this point in the race, because they'll have got such large flat spots from the spin earlier on. The tyres flat spot really, really easily in rFactor 2, and that's going to be costing them a couple of tenths per second per lap, I should expect. Galli got away with it pretty lightly, because although he got walloped pretty decisively, he managed to hold it and didn't spin. It was a really good save actually from Galli, and he saved himself a lot of bother come the end of the race, especially. So we are now on lap 10 of the race, and Carao is back in the pits. So maybe this is for the flat spots I was talking about. He's taking pit stop. There he goes. Or maybe there's something else to it. Well, Carao stops the car. And is he going to restart it or not? Or is this the end? It looks if... Well, he hasn't... Yeah, he has got going again. So new set of boots, I should expect, for Gianluigi Carao. And he exits onto the track. Now, does Massimiliano Ferrari get past him this time? No, he still doesn't. I should say though, although Ferrari hasn't had the pace of these other drivers in this race, at least he's not causing any issues further back, and hopefully he will continue to be that way as the leaders come through. But yeah, whatever the case, it's great to see drivers finishing the race, even if they're not as quick as the others. And Ferrari, who obviously didn't get much practice time for this race, is just having his own race at the back. And yeah, let's let him get on with that. Dean Vella back in the slipstream of Matthew Galli, and Galli feels the need to go defensive this time around. He pulls over to the right-hand side there up the hill. And, well, he didn't really need to go defensive because Vella wasn't very close, but that will be just to break out of the slipstream and minimise the advantage that Vella will get from running behind him. And they continue to run in 3rd and 4th positions as everything completely freezes on me. Apologies if I'm not talking much. There we go. Yeah, sorry, I'm not having the best of time for my computer at the minute, but whatever the case, the leaders now are about to lap Massimiliano Ferrari for the first time, and they do it nicely and without issue, despite, I think, a little bit of lag there from Ferrari. I thought it was my screen that was lagging, but yeah, Ferrari got out of the way nicely. And through have gone the first 2 leaders, and the next, of course, to lap Ferrari is going to be the battling duo, sorry, the battling duo of Matthew Galley and Dean Vella, who are 3rd and 4th at this point in time. So after 12 laps of the race, Thomas Lechevre continues to lead, followed by Che Hatch, Matthew Galley, Dean Vella, Alexis Clopano, Morgan Saum, Gianluigi Carrao and Massimiliano Ferrari. All 8 drivers still running in this race and 7 still on the lead lap. Admittedly, Carrao is about to be put a lap down. I just saw him heading around the corner there ahead of the leaders. But yeah, whatever the case, still 7 cars remaining on the lead lap out of the 8 that started the race. And all 8 cars still running. So it's been a very clean race so far. Only the one incident to talk about being the one involving Carrao, which ended up resulting in Carrao getting a penalty and Saum losing a couple of places. And at the end of that lap, the gap for the lead is 2.314 seconds between Lechevre and Hatch. So Lechevre has been building it out a bit as the race has continued. And talking of building out the gap, actually, Galley, for the first time in a couple of laps, is over a second ahead of Vella. So he's been pulling it back, and he'll feel the pressure lifted from his back a little bit with that work. But not for long, because Dean Vella is right back in that cusp again with the slipstream. Oh, but Vella runs a little bit wide over the curb there. It's probably going to cost him about half a tenth of a second, but in racing, marginal gains are everything. And that's really the gap we should be focusing on, the one between Galley and Vella in 3rd position. And this time around, it was 7 tenths of a second. So Vella there, last lap, was about 3 tenths of a second faster than Galley's. In fact, it looks more like 4 or 5 tenths of a second faster looking at the times. And Dean Vella really catching back up to Galley. He must have made a mistake to just drop off the back of him temporarily, but he's catching him again. And it's certainly not over yet. Of course, Clopano and Saum are still fighting in 5th and 6th positions. But those two, of course, also not quite close enough to make an overtake just yet. And really, I want to keep an eye mainly on the battle for 3rd place between the 2 drivers separated by, well, let's keep an eye on the gap as they cross the line, separated by about 6 tenths of a second, because that is the fight for the final podium position. And the one that matters in terms of bragging rights, because anyone who finishes 3rd or 1st to 3rd can say they had the honour of being interviewed by the amazing Caitlin Penny. I am joking, of course. But whatever the case, Vella there running very wide and getting over the grass. And that's going to cost him a little. And as they head onto the straight, he's actually over a second back after that. So that was an unfortunate mistake there for Dean Vella. And what I've seen him make a couple of times, actually, he's just run a little bit wide out of the inverted chapel corner. The pass-through on the inside. And that's going to drop him off the back of Galley again, at least for the time being. Out to the final corner come Clopano and Saum. And they're separated by just under 6 tenths of a second. Definitely now the closest battle on track, although we'll see if Vella can catch Galley again towards the end, or at least sooner than that. I'd certainly say he can, but it depends on what Galley does. And Saum there made a bit of a Dean Vella-ish mistake coming out of the pass-through on the inside by running wide and dipping the wheel into the grass on the exit of the inverted chapel as well, where he didn't lose nearly enough time, and he is right on the tail of Alexis Clopano. Clopano is a driver I've only ever seen racing GT cars before, or at least sports cars. I think I've seen him racing a prototype, but yeah, only sports cars. and this is the first race I've ever seen from him in a single-seater. He'll be pleased with 5th, but to achieve that, he needs to hold off Morgan Saum. Actually, I don't know if he'll be pleased with 5th. I don't know what he was hoping for coming into this race. Meanwhile, we're losing Jay Hatch. Jay Hatch has lost it, and he's crashed. He's lost his rear wing. So there is heavy damage to Jay Hatch's car. He's spun out of 2nd position, and I'll tell you what happened there. He just ran wide on the exit of Chapel, as we've seen so many other drivers doing. He's gone over the grass. He's lost grip. He's lost traction. He's spun it around, and he's gone backwards into the wall. His rear wing has exploded off the car, and that is, I'm afraid, it for Jay Hatch's chances of winning the race. And I don't know that he knows he's lost his rear wing, because as he came around Stowe there, he lost control of the car again. So he needs to pit here, and it's going to be a lengthy damage repair. And that puts Matthew Galley up into 2nd place ahead of Dean Vella. Then Clapano is through to 5th, and Sam, still battling with Clapano, is up into 5th, sorry, because Clapano's up into 4th. As Jay Hatch spins it on the way into the pits. He does not know he's not got a rear wing, and needs to be far more careful than that when driving a damaged car. A lengthy damage repair. He may well lose even more places. Gianluigi Carrao is coming through now, and Carrao goes up to 6th. Will Jay Hatch lose 7th place to Massimiliano Ferrari? Well, he's got a whole lap left, so Ferrari has a whole lap left to go before he can get past Jay Hatch. Oh, Ferrari, whoa, has really good save. Okay, if admittedly there, Ferrari hasn't been having the best of races, but that was a brilliant save there. Oh, and he kicked out the rear end again there, going into Vale. But yeah, what a gutting turn of events for Jay Hatch. He'll be so disappointed in himself, and he has no return to the race, but his car is still heavily damaged at the rear, and I'm afraid he may well have to retire from this race, because that is not a healthy car, and that's not in a fit state to be driving. And yeah, to be honest, rear suspension damage, I think, should always be a retirement, because you're never going to fix that in the pit. And if I was the race steward here, and I'm not trying to teach them how to do their job, but if I was the race steward, I'd be black flagging that car. Jay Hatch now pulls off to the side of the road and abandons the race. So that is it for Jay Hatch. He has our first retirement, and that means we have just 7 cars remaining in this race. And that's a big shame, because Jay Hatch had a great chance of winning this race. He was right on the tail, only 2 seconds behind Thomas Lechevre. And I'm afraid he's thrown it away, all by his own mistake. And that means that after 20 laps, it's Thomas Lechevre leading from Matthew Galley, then Dean Vella. Now watch Alexis Clapano and Morgan Saum, because Alexis Clapano is defending heavily, and Saum goes to the inside. A very late move. He solved the dummy and attempts to do a Mansell move. It's in Mansell on Piquet. It hasn't worked yet, and Clapano looks as if he's going to hold him off for now. There he goes. But yeah, Clapano looked as if he didn't quite know which way to defend. And then Saum just surprised him by just diving through at the last possible moment. And if that had worked, it would have been a fantastic move. And he's going at it again, actually. He's on the outside of Clapano there, through the loop, and into Chapel. He goes for a switchback, and that might work, you know, as we head onto the straight. And it works for now, but can Clapano get back into the slipstream and attempt to get back at Saum? Not into Stowe, so for now Morgan Saum's done it. He's up into 4th place. A great move from Morgan Saum. And that means that the order is Lechevre, Galley, Vella, Saum, Clapano, Carrao and Ferrari. 5 of the 7 running cars still on the lead lap. And the gap for the lead is 7.733 seconds between Lechevre and Galley. So, a great race so far. Foxtrot says, nice job, guys. Keep working. Thank you very much. And he also says, see you soon. See you later, Foxtrot. It's great that you could join us today. And we hope that you'll be able to join us again in future rounds. Nadia Misarotti says, okay. Okay, I hope you mean you're finding our broadcast okay? Or actually, the previous posted comment was visit our website. So yeah, little I don't know. Did you visit our website? It'd be great if you did. But anyway, good to see you in the Facebook stream anyway. And hello to everyone else who is joining us, whether you've just tuned in or whether you've been watching ever since the start of practice. You're welcome here, and you're welcome to follow all of these fantastic World Pro Racing events. This is the first one we've done with rFactor 2, and if you're enjoying this one, then I'm sure you'll enjoy all of our future events on rFactor 2. This definitely won't be the last one. We have others planned. In fact, we have another one planned for just a week's time. It's going to be a BTCC race at Toban, and I'm sure we will get more entries for that one. And because it's touring car racing, it's going to be fantastic. But as we continue on our way, Thomas the Chevrolet continues to lead. And he's built out the gap now to almost 8 seconds. It's a really decent lap there by Thomas the Chevrolet. And that, of course, is helped by Che Hatcher's crash, but still, you have to give it to Le Chevrolet. He has not put a foot wrong yet in this race, not that we've seen. It's been a really, really good effort from him, and it's not over yet, because we are on lap 25 out of 30, 5 laps to go after this one. And the 7 drivers remaining in this race continue to lap the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. As I said, Silverstone is a brilliant track. It's one that I really, really like. And these cars, of course, did race at Silverstone when they were racing with these liveries and this chassis in 2017. And one of the drivers who won a race that weekend in this car was a certain Lando Norris, who of course went on to drive for McLaren in official Grand Prix. And recently, unfortunately, got crashed out of the Chinese Grand Prix, but put in a fantastic performance at Bahrain. And yeah, it's always been a fantastic car to prove yourself in Formula 3 cars. That's why they use it for junior categories. Meanwhile, let's look back to. Oh, sorry, I thought there was a move going on there. That was just Galli lapping Ferrari. Meanwhile, Vella is actually catching back up to Galli again. But yeah, as I was saying, it's a great car to prove yourself in, the Formula 3 car, because it is challenging, but it's also not as powerful as a Formula 1 car. It's a little bit more basic, and that means you can just get in and race it and not have to think too much. It's a real driver's car, and that's what Formula 3 has always been about. And that's why it's one of the most popular forms of single-seater motorsport, if not the most popular form. And yeah, the Dallara F317 providing the race for us here today with World Pro Racing. Although Dallara, of course, not a sponsor, I should point out. Although that'd be nice. Dallara is a great company. Up into Stowe, Galli ahead of Vella. Second and third place, still separated by less than a second. Vella, of course, made a couple of mistakes early, but he's obviously learned from those mistakes and started to catch up to the back of Galli again. And this... oh, he doesn't have many more opportunities to do it, because we're on lap 28 out of 30. And these are extremely short laps. We're absolutely in the late stages of this race, the closing stages. And that means that it's almost definitely going to go the way of Thomas de Chevre, and I don't mean to curse it, but yeah, he has an 8-second margin at the top of the order there. Meanwhile, his main rivals Galli and Vella are 8 seconds back, obviously enough, with Vella still not quite close enough to Galli to make a move, but still getting very, very close. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him launch something on the final lap. We'll have to see. It all depends on if he can stick with him until that time. Lap 29 of 30 now. This is the penultimate lap of the race. Lechevre leads from Galli, Vella, Saum, Clapano, Carrao and Ferrari. Of course, we did have one retirement, Che Hatch. I was expecting more retirements than just that today, but we got a great, clean race. Oh, Vella's gone over the curb a bit on the inside there. That's going to cost him some time to Galli. And that's a corner he really hasn't liked here today, Chapel Corner. I can't blame him, really. It's a tricky turn. But still, he certainly has not been liking that corner. And he's been making a couple of mistakes there, and that may well be his last chance of claiming third position. Well and truly gone. Another amazing save from Massimiliano Ferrari. I love watching his driving and just thinking, you know, he's not quick, but how is he saving those slides? That's fantastic. On to the final lap we go. Thomas Lechevre has about 30 seconds to go until he takes the checkered flag. His gap to Galli behind is 8.4 seconds. And actually, Dean Vella may be close enough to launch something on Galli. It all depends on their exits to Chapel Corner. That was a good exit. I don't think Vella's going to be close enough, but he's going to be fairly close. Meanwhile, just 2 corners to go now for Thomas Lechevre, 3 officially. Through the Vale, left, over the sausage curb, then right. And the final corner at Club. And Thomas Lechevre wins a fantastic, well-deserved victory here at Silverstone. Across the lane he goes in 28 minutes and 4 seconds. Brilliant win from Thomas Lechevre. He had to fight from second on the grid, but he's won it. Matthew Galli is second. He fends off Dean Vella at the end. Morgan Saum is fourth, and he'll be gutted due to that spin earlier on. Alexis Clapano is fifth, and Gianluigi Carrao is sixth. We're waiting for one driver, and that's Massimiliano Ferrari at the back of the field, 3 laps down, but still fantastic that he could finish. Locks up the tyres going into Vale. His tyres won't like him much, but whatever the case, through the final corner comes Massimiliano Ferrari. He's stayed out of trouble. He's finished the race 7th place, not bad indeed. So to run you through the order again, it was the Lechevre, Galli, Vella, Saum, Clapano, Carrao, Ferrari, and then the retiring Che Hatch, pole sitter, who did not finish this race, unfortunately. And now, do not go anywhere, because we are about to get some interviews for the top 3. Oh, Nadia Miserotti posts a crying face emoji. What's wrong? I hope everything's okay on your end. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Sorry if you're upset, but whatever the case, yeah, hope you enjoyed the broadcast. And to everyone else who has tuned in with us, I hope you enjoy it as I hope you enjoyed it as well. And yeah, we still have more to come because we're waiting to hear from our podium finishers, Lechevre, Galli, and Vella. And the first one has just joined us, and that will be Tom Lechevre, I believe. Sorry, click the wrong button. Hey there, Tom.
في left front.
Dean, you're in the broadcast booth. Thomas Lechevre. Do we have Thomas Lechevre?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
Where do we go?
We are in the interview booth now. Sorry. So let's start in that case. If we don't have Thomas Lechevre just yet, let's start with our second place finisher, Dean Vella. No, sorry, Dean was third. Okay, let's start with Dean Vella. Let's go. Let's save the best till last and start with Dean Vella. Excuse me, sorry for this confusion. Hello, Dean. How are you doing?
Fine.
Sorry about all of that. So, Dean, you were one of the main contenders in qualifying. Qualified third, although less than a tenth of a second off the leaders, and then got a little bit swamped off the start. Did something not go right with the clutch at the start, maybe, or were you just a little bit late?
Yeah, I just messed up the start altogether. I just couldn't get the biting point right, so I fell back to last place, if I recall right. And Yeah, it was quite a bummer because I think I could have fought with the top three from the start and maybe get a second or first place, but it is what it is.
Thank you very much. So, in terms of your fight through the field, you had to force your way through a little bit of carnage at times, but still came through to finish third, which was a great result. How did it look from your view? And are you disappointed that you couldn't catch your rival there at the end and possibly make a move for second?
Yeah, I mean, at times I was sure that I was going to catch him, but I kept making like small mistakes that basically cost me, I think, second place. But in the end, I'm not too disappointed because it was my fault, and I think I can uh, rectify that in the future.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us here today, and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
So let's move on to second place, who was Matthew Galley. Am I pronouncing your name right there, Matt? Are you Galley or like Galley?
Not exactly, it's Gallia, but it's close
Gallia,
enough.
sorry, Gallia.
Nobody
Okay.
can pronounce it right from abroad, so it's okay.
Yeah, apologies for that. I've been pronouncing your name wrong all day. So
It's not a problem.
Matt Gallia, how did the race look from your point of view, and are you enjoying your first view of World Pro Racing?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the organization was amazing. I mean, it was very tough competition in qualifying. We were all so close, and yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. And from my perspective, I mean, in the start there was a lot of carnage, but I made I think a decent overtake on the. I was like fourth, and I overtook third, and almost the person in second. I forgot who they were, and then the person in like third came back. But it was a decent fight overall, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. And in the end, you really had to hold off some pressure from Dean Vella. Did you ever think you weren't going to make it, or did you just have to hold fast?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in that position, always looking at the mirror, it's just all about making sure you don't make that one mistake because it's so easy to do. You're constantly under pressure. But yeah, I was confident in holding it. I wasn't really scared of losing the position. He was never that close. I mean, in like the middle of the race, I went defensive a couple of times, but apart from that, he wasn't really that close.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you back in the future. So thank you for that.
Yep.
And last but very much not least, do we have Thomas? Do we have our race winner Thomas Lechevre or?
Unfortunately, he's here, but unfortunately, his English is not very good. That's what he actually told us. Sorry for that. So I don't know if he'll like take it on or not as an.
Okay, well, congratulations anyway, Tom, and yeah, we'll see you back in the future. So good luck. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I would like to say something. Actually, well done to all the drivers today. Actually, I was quite happy with even their way of driving, and even we noticed clean driving. Obviously, we had one particular incident, and also when we saw blue flags, we saw the drivers doing the right move, so on and so forth. So, from that point of view, I'm quite happy. Also from our side.
Thank you very much. So that's been all from me today, Caitlin Penny. It's been a pleasure to talk you through our very first broadcast on rFactor 2, and I have to say congratulations to World Pro Racing for putting together such a good start. And I'm sure we're going to improve even more in the future and expand even further. And I'm looking forward to going through it with you. So well done to World Pro Racing, and I'm going to hand back over now to Adrian Figallo so he can thank our sponsors and end the broadcast. See you later, everyone.
So thanks, Caitlin. Obviously enough. Thanks for all our followers for being with us today for this first broadcast, as Caitlin said, from World Pro Racing on rFactor 2 platform. Next week we have another race on rFactor 2, BTCC. Join our Facebook, World Pro Racing. Follow our website, worldproracing.com, and also subscribe to our YouTube so that you'll keep updated with what is going on from our side, and with all the upcoming races and some interesting, obviously, information coming up very soon. We would like to thank our sponsors, visitmalta.com and Gaming Malta, and our supporting partners, GT Omega Racing, Gamers.com.mt, Garmin Malta, Z1 Software, and Student Motorsport. Thanks to Justin, our broadcast director, myself, Adrian, and also George here, race director, myself, and George the steward. Have a nice evening.